Hello, this is Dr. Prasad Podiyalam with a class series on Indian Knowledge System, BIKK609 offered by Shashra Technological University on to Module 2, Part 5, uh, Module 1, Module 2, Module 1 complete video series completed, Module 2 half done, and it is there in the YouTube channel My Intuition 4865. Please do subscribe to this YouTube channel and support. I'm on to physics, the traditional knowledge in humanities and science, physics, everywhere physics, here physics, there physics. So throughout the world you can see the concept of physics. Okay, so physics, ancient Indian, their contributions and measurement system that we are seeing in detail. So the physics as well as astronomy, not only physics, astronomy also I'm covering here in this particular video. So the introduction means how in the ancient Indians they saw the physics as well as the universe. The rishis, the Indian rishis and the scholars, they did not just meditate, but they also observed the nature very closely, and they used their minds like the scientists. So their goal was to understand the physical world, the bhautika vidya, and the things which are connected to it with the cosmic order, that is Rudha. So we see the individual contribution of physics as well as astronomy separately. So it comes to the atomic atom theory or the Anu or Paramanu, that is called the atom theory. It was given by Acharya Kanada. He was a sage from the Vaisheshika school, and he said everything is made up of atoms or Anu, which is a small or invisible particle, and these atoms they are the eternal, and it combined to form the different things. He also said that just as the cloth is made up of threads, the world is made up of atoms, and this idea is very much like the today's atomic theory, but spoken in a spiritual and in a natural language. The motion and the mechanics, even before the Newton, the Indians they spoke about the movement of as well as the force. The Maitrayani Samhita, it talks about objects which are staying at rest unless it is moved, what we now call the inertia. And the Bhaskaracharya second, in the Siddhanta Chiromani, he calculated the Earth's diameter, time for Earth's rotation around the Sun, the movement of grahas or movement of planets. The Sushruta, the father of surgery, they used the levers in tools, like how we lift the heavy loads with stick or with pulleys. Then the gravitational force means why the things they fall down because of the gravity. So in the Yajurveda, it is said that the earth it holds everything with force. That means Aryabhatta said earth spins on its own axis, and he explained that we don't feel it because of the gravity, though he did not use that word gravity, but some call attraction. So that's why objects fall towards the earth and not upward. And he also explained how the day and night happens very long before the discovery of telescopes. Optics for the light. Sushruta he explained how the light enters the eye and enabling the vision. Aryabhatta said that the moon and planets they don't shine by themselves; they actually reflect the sunlight, and he used this to explain the eclipses in a correct way. The Madhava was from Kerala. He used trigonometry to study light and motion of the movement of stars. He even laid the basics of calculus very long before the Newton or even Leibniz. So the ancient Indians, they observed the nature with very curiosity and with patience. They used logic and they used the measurement with devotion, which saw the science as a sacred knowledge, and they believed in the truth, the satya, which lies in knowing both that we can see the physical thing as well as the unseen, the cosmic one, as part of the universe. Now let's move into astronomy. Some of the points which we can connect is, how did Indians see the earth and sky during the Vedic period or the ancient traditional Indian period? So the great thinkers like the Aryabhatta, who was in the 5th century, he said something which is amazing. That's the earth spins on its own. That's why we see the sun rising and setting. He did not believe earth was still, instead it rotates. So he explained the moon and planets do not shine themselves. They reflect sunlight just like the water reflects your face. Aryabhatta also understood that Earth is not exact the way, it is little bit tilt way, or axial tilt is the slightly tilted. And the eclipses like the Chandragrahana or Surya it happens in a regular cycle. And he also calculated the year to be approximately 365.2588 days, which is almost perfect. We call it as 365 only, no. Then the time and the calendars, how the traditional Indian people, they track the time, or the our ancestor, how they did. They they didn't had the clocks which we have now. They didn't look at those type of clocks. They looked at the sky only. So in the ancient book, the Surya Siddhanta, in which it is written that the movement of planets, how the planets move, what are the eclipses, the small circle planet which makes within the big orbits, that is epicycles. The length of a year with amazing accuracy is found. The Indian calendar, which we call as the Panchanga, it also set the lunar day, which is the Tithi, or the constellation the moon is in, that is the Nakshatra. The yoga, the Karana, and more, all of are used in the festivals for farming, to perform the rituals. So even today, many temples, they use the same method to fix the festival dates, not by seeing the modern calendar. The astronomical instruments, centuries before the telescope, the Indian astronomers, they built instruments like the Jantar Mantar, which is found in Delhi, and the Jaipur, was built by the Raja Jai Singh in 18th century. It has got a huge sundial to tell the accurate time, which is called Samrat Yandra, and a bowl-shaped tool to find the planet position, which is the Jayaprakash Yandra. And even before this, during the Vedic time, the people, they used the Shankhu, which sticks shadows to tell time. And even they had the water clocks, that is Gati Yandra, to measure time using the water, by using water flow to measure the time. Then gravity and the celestial motion. Yes, again it is Aryabhatta who said that Earth pulls everything towards it. That's why the things fall down. And he used this to explain how the planets move in their orbits based on their distance as well as the size. So he believed that the laws of the sky were the same at those on Earth. So this was the Indian way of explanation. No divisions between the science and the nature. So the ancient Indian astronomers, astronomy, it is based on observation and calculation, which connected the sky and earth as one system, and they meant for daily life, from planning the crops, performing the homas or yajnas, everywhere they used it. Now some of the tools that they used, measurement tools and units, given in the table. Nimisha, that is approximately 1 by 75th of a second. That means the time when we say, usually use in this 1 nimisha, 1 minute. Okay, so that nimisha, it is actually 1 by 75th of a second. Means before we complete pronouncing the word, the time is gone. That is the smallest time unit in ancient Indian text which is mentioned. Then one kala, that is approximately 1.5 days, and muhurta, that is 48 minutes, which is commonly used in daily activities and rituals. 48 minutes time, that is a muhurta time. Yuga, that is around 4.32 million years, that is cycles of time associated with the cosmic ages. Then prakritik samaya, that is 1 year, 365.25 days. That is one solar year. Okay, now the key principles of astronomy, like the Kepler's law, and what the Aryabhatta who said before the Kepler. So much before the Kepler, who is an European astronomer of 17th century, who spoke about the laws of planetary motion. Aryabhatta, who already written it in the text. The planet moves in the elliptical or the slightly curved path around the central point, and they do not move at the same speed at all the time. They slow down and speed up depending on how close they are to the center, like uh, how the bullock cart, it moves faster on a downward slope, and which slows down on the upwards. So the center was understood to be near the sun, though not fully described as in the modern science. Aryabhatta mentions something near the sun. So Indians, these rishis or seers, they did not call them as Kepler's law, but their observations, especially from the texts like the Aryabhatiya and the Surya Siddhanta, they point to similar truths about the how planets move in space. Then comes the heliocentrism, that is the sun is in the middle. In most ancient cultures, the people, they believed that the earth stood still and everything went around it. But Aryabhatta, he said something differently and with bold, that the earth rotates, the sky only appears to move. He did not clearly say that the planets, they revolve around the sun like the full heliocentric model, but he did hint that the the sun plays a central role in the planetary movement. He suggested that sun is the stationary, and the planets orbit in a pattern which is influenced by the sun's positions. And the idea was the centuries ahead of the Copernicus, who is usually credited with the heliocentric theory. Now comes the eclipse theory. Eclipse theory, the shadow play. Many ancient the beliefs, the eclipse were seen as the work of a demons like the Rahu and Ketu, who are swallowing the sun or the moon. So, but Aryabhatta, he gave a scientific explanation to that. He said the moon goes around the earth, and sometimes it comes exactly in line with the sun and the earth. So when the earth comes in between sun and moon, shadows fall on the moon. and this is a lunar eclipse called as Chandragrahana. And when the moon comes between Earth and Sun, its shadows follow the Earth, and this is a solar eclipse called the Surya Grahana. It was Aryabhatta clearly mentioned that eclipse happened because of shadows and not because of demons. But yet, the Rahu and Ketu were still used symbolically in astronomy. Then the spherical Earth. Many ancient cultures they believed the Earth was flat, like a plate. But Indians rishis they said long ago that Earth is round like a ball, or they called as bhugola. So the term itself, gola is there. Gola means round. So it spins, it rotates on its axis, and that's why we see the day as well as the night. And the ships they disappear over the horizon because of the Earth is curved, and the pole star they stay in place while the other appears to move. That is another clue that the Earth is rotating. And Aryabhatta he described all this with maths and other models, not just guesswork. So in his time, that is the 5th century common era, people already accepted a spherical spinning Earth. Precision of equinoxes, that is the shift in sky. The precision of the equinoxes means that the position of stars and the constellation is slows or slowly shifts over the time due to a slow wobble in Earth's rotational axis. The Indian texts like the Vedanga Jyotisha and later the Surya Siddhanta, it gives the hints about this. It not that the nakshatra, the star constellation, is seen at the sunrise during equinoxes, it slowly changes over long periods, and this change affects the Panchanga calculations. Panchanga means the Indian traditional Indian calendar. The Panchanga calculations, the astronomy, and the yajna timing, it varies according to that. So they did not write it using the modern trigonometry or methods, but the observational understanding was very strong. And the priests and the astronomers they updated their calendar every few centuries based on these star shifts. So you can say the Indian astronomers they did not separate the science and spirituality. They saw truth in nature. They used observations. They used the logic and the maths and explained the sky with both precision as well as with a poetic beauty. So they looked up. They measured with tools, and even they wrote verses, poems, which hold the wisdom even today. I think that's about physics and astronomy. It's everywhere. So once again, I thank you for watching my video through in my YouTube channel, My Intuition 4865. Please do subscribe if not subscribed, and support me. Once again, thank you very much.